Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Welcome to another great episode of the Great Debaters Contest. We're in Nyeri this time, and I am your host, Austin Nyombo.
And I am Mariam Bishar. We have Chinga girls going versus Kahuhia girls, and they are answering this question. Is environmentalism in the third world the responsibility of the first world? We'll have them take the stage now. Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Our Lady of Fatima and Teresa Moiro proposing strongly this motion. Environmentalism in the third world is the responsibility of the first world. What is environmentalism? This is basically the act of taking care of the environment. What is responsibility? This is an obligation or duty you have towards something or someone. When I talk of the third world countries, I'm talking about the developing countries. Africa, India, China being a good example. When I talk of the first world countries, I am talking about the industrialized countries, the already developed countries. Audience, please hear to what I'm about to say. These aren't my words, but Martin Luther King's words. He talked of this. We must learn to live together like brothers or die together like fools. What Martin Luther wanted to say was that we must learn to help each other, to make our problems become stepping stones. If we do this, as per what I know, two heads are better than one. I take a good example of of New York City. New York City is a cosmopolitan city. It has many of its residents being people outside USA. Why? Because they go to seek employment. Quote me, employment. Their population of New York leads to housing problem. This will lead to rent increment. An establishment of ghetto won't be escaped. Harlem being a good example of the ghettos. I clearly told you that they go to seek for employment. So what will happen when this pollution of the third world countries continues? This will lead to starvation, lack of clean drinking water. What will these people do if they run from their own countries to go to the first world countries and look for employment? They'll definitely run from their own countries and go to the first world countries. What will this lead to? The large population, leading to housing problems, leading to rent increment. This is like taking a problem to another country. The best angle to look or approach at a problem is at the triangle, third world countries. Let's try and take help from the first world countries. I rest my case.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
When I hear my opponent speak about employment, I wonder how employment will dump a paper in the river. I wonder how unemployment will dump any non-degradable products into our water systems. I wonder how it will cause deforestation. Okay, according to Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, we are clearly told that the obligation of taking care of our environment is our responsibility, not of the first world countries. That is why Wangeshi Ngeru, representing the Kahuhia Girls High School, is strongly opposing the motion that says that third world countries' environmentalism is a responsibility of the first world countries. Now, my devastation today, my heartbreaking moment today, is the fact that I, as a member of a third world country, is being referred to as a third world country. Yes, we have terms that can make us seem more important, like the term developing countries. So environmentalism is the act of campaigning for the conservation of the environment. Third world countries are countries that are still developing, like Kenya, Jamaica, Chile, and India. First world countries are countries that are already developed, like the UK, the US, China, and Japan. So when I hear my opponent talking about China as a third world country, I wonder where her statistics come from. Now, according to Daily Nation paper on the 23rd of April 2015, may I make it known to you that among so many problems that affect the third world countries, water pollution takes the lead with 61%. Facts also state that estimated 1,000 children in India die every day from water contamination. How sad. Leave that alone, up to 90% of the water that flows into rivers every day is waste. The epitome of everything is that over 2 million tons of human waste is released to our rivers. Now, who is responsible for pollution? Is it the Americans that come to our country and dump papers into our rivers? No. Is it the Americans and the first world countries that will come into our environment and dump human waste, over 2 million tons, into our rivers? No, why are we blaming our responsibility on first world countries? It is impossible. It is unrealistic. Let us think like people who are developing countries. Now, look at the over-reliance we have on the first world countries. When we need relief food, who do we run to? First world countries. When we need IDP settlement, who do we run to? First world countries. When we need our roads to be constructed, who do we run to? Chinese in particular. Just recently, our President, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, went to China and came back with 405 billion Kenya shillings. It is almost as if China is becoming the 48th county in Kenya. Let us get realistic. Let us think far and wide. We are a developing country, not a begging country, and we'll never be beggars. And as Jesus said, Wangeshi Ngweru will still quote the same words. It is finished.
Time for rebuttals now. Proposition, you have 3 minutes.
It doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white. All that matters is whether it can catch mice. Mukami Njoroge, proposing the motion, environmentalism in the third world is the responsibility of the first world. To my opponent, I believe we should make Google our friend. It clearly stipulates that China is a developing nation. I believe the argument we should be having right now is on how to solve the problem on environmentalism. Rather, it should be on how we are going to solve this problem and it should not be on who is going to help us solve the problem. I am a Kenyan, and a proud Kenyan to that. And just like my opponent said, our president went to China and came back with 405 billion as a debt. Kenya, just a while ago, our teachers were on strike. Just a while ago, our doctors were on strike. So, what are we going to tackle first? The hunger issues, the strikes, or the environmentalism? That's your choice to make. But what I strongly believe, we as the third world nations, Kenya for that matter, we should first dwell with the problems at hand. It's not that we are not willing to curb these problems, but we do not have the economic prowess. The United States of America, the world's most influential nation, it emits 25% of these greenhouse gases. The Kyoto Protocol, they chipped in and they reduced the emission by 7%. This cost America a great fortune. So what about us who are drowning in debt? What about us who are sinking in debt? What will it cost us? Jesus, take the wheel. Take it from my hands, because I cannot do this on my own. They are not my words. They are Carrie Underwood's words. They bless my soul every time I listen to them. So I believe we as the third world should also use the same words. First world, take the wheel. Take it from my hands, because we cannot do this on our own. We don't have the money to do this. We have pressing issues to deal with. So if we start by solving problems on environmentalism, what about the problems we are facing as a nation? And you also said, I believe, that we should also clear the mess that the first world brings to us. They dump their waste here. I believe when you make a mistake, you're supposed to amend your mistakes. You should know how to clear your messes. Our Lady of Fatima Chinga Girls Secondary School. Mukami Njoroge. Thank you.
Opposition will hear your rebuttal. You also have 3 minutes.
It took me 1 second to pick this paper. It didn't even take me hours to pick this other one. Instead, it left a long impression that the place I'm standing on is clean. Rejoy Karanja is my name, representing the Kahuhia Girls High School, opposing the motion that environmentalism in the third world countries is the responsibility of the first world countries. I appreciate my opponent for mentioning the Kyoto Protocol. And as for your information, countries like Canada and USA withdrew. So why then should we rely on countries that are not strong enough to remain committed? So the third world countries, developing countries, have a very good education system. They incorporate environmentalism in the curriculum, starting from primary all the way to the university level. We have environmentalists, we have experts, we have people who are studying environmental courses. We have environmental agencies like NEMA and UNEP. Even better, we have the Ministry of Environment. This clearly shows that the government is taking action. So why then should we allow the first world countries to come and change what we have? Why should we allow them to come and bring a halt to what we have already started? Let us continue with what we have begun. Let us take our responsibility. After all, it doesn't take a third hand to clean your face anyway. People are using trees. They're actually cutting trees to make coffins. I don't get the point. Why? You should cut precious trees. Use the timber that you acquire only to take it 6 feet under for it to be eaten by termites. It does not make sense. According to Indelworld, out of 1,000 people, 7 people die within 1 day. And for this one person, you need 2 trees to make a coffin. So I'm trying to imagine, with this kind of rate, within 1 year, how many trees have been cut down? We have to think of better ways of disposing the bodies of our loved ones after they have left us. The best thing we can do is cremate them, or rather, offer these bodies for scientific research. I mean, why should we bury a good eye that can actually be used by a medical student in Nairobi school for study? When we do this, we are going to save on space and also conserve our trees. People are still cutting down trees for energy. People are still burning charcoal. I mean, come on. This is the 21st century. This is the year 2017. Who uses charcoal? Who uses jiko? We follow the trend. And the trend right now is gas cookers, electric cookers, solar energy. Let's pick up the trend and stop lagging behind. It is in the third world countries that men of Nyadhi, like the men I see here today, are produced. So let's stop acting like crybabies, take up our responsibility, and do what is expected of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The opposition have been asked if we were to have first world countries help us clean up the environment, would that not lead to more debt? Because they probably wouldn't do it for free. The opposition have been asked that they talked about solar heaters and electric cookers and such things as a solution for pollution, but are they not also sourced from first world countries? We'll have them respond to these queries. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Modern technology, Oz ecology, and apology. Wanjiko Mwai, Our Lady of Fatima Chinga Girls, proposing the motion. Environmentalism in the third world is the responsibility of the first world. To the question asked, my dear,
You are a student. It is your responsibility to be a student. Are you paid? It is the responsibility of your parents to take care of you. Do they get paid for that responsibility bestowed on them? And to my opposers, I'd like to assure you that, according to research, for the past 5 years, the forest cover has increased from 1.7 in 2013 to 7% as we are speaking. That is an increment of 5.3%. Well, the developed countries, due to the high levels of industrialization, contribute more to global warming. They emit more greenhouse gases to the environment than we, the third world countries. I know probably by now you're asking yourself, how does this make it their responsibility? But I'll tell you. My class 4 teacher told me, wind is moving air. When they release these emissions to the atmosphere, they get carried away by wind. Do you want to tell me that it only affects them? No, I don't think so. It also affects other people out there. I'll give you an example of an incident that happened recently in 2013. Japan, there was a nuclear meltdown, radioactive emissions. This led to sea pollution. And as we all know, seas have outlets which drain water in other water bodies in different countries. Do you really want to tell me that this problem only affected Japan? It also affected other people in other countries. So this makes it the responsibility of such a country to clear up their mess. When they came and colonized us, they left our land depleted. They destroyed our environment. So I really don't think they have any excuse of not coming back here and clear up the mess that they created long ago. As they say, you don't spit in the well because you might grow thirsty by and by. Then I believe the first world countries should take it as their responsibility. I mean, they must take it as their responsibility to come and clear up their mess. And if they don't, I'm afraid they will perish with us, the poor developing countries. I am Wanjiko Mwai. Thank you.
Opposition, you'll have your response to the audience. You have 3 minutes.
Bansi Muthoni from the Kahuhia Girls, hereby to strongly oppose this motion that says environmentalism in the third world countries is a responsibility to the first world countries. To answer the question, I need you to draw the line between responsibility and trading. Using of gas cookers is as a result of trading with other international countries. But if you're not comfortable using gas cookers, there's an alternative. You can use biogas. Now, the third world countries have showcased themselves to be ignorant. Is it the first world countries who teach us to dispose of rubbish everywhere? Is it the first world countries who teach us to throw banana peels through the windows of our cars? And is it the first world countries who teach us to create dump sites on graveyards like in Kangemi slums as it was reported in Tuko News? Certainly not. It is our responsibility as third world countries to take care of our environment. Let us not be ignorant. However, all is not lost. There is hope. Not all third world countries are ignorant. An example is Rwanda. Now, Rwanda have decided to take up the responsibility to clean up their nation. They come together and they have a day called Umuganda Day on the 4th Saturday of every month, whereby the common mwananchi, the tourists, and the president himself come together to clean the environment. Littering in Rwanda is illegal. Chile, a third world country, has the cleanest town. According to google.com, they have a town square with a river whose water is so clean you can confidently drink it. Now let's cross over to our very own country, Kenya. We have raised a woman of steel, a lady of integrity, a lady of substance, the late Wangari Maathai. Through her, we had the Green Belt movement, and by 1977, 51 million trees had been planted. It is our responsibility to rehabilitate our environment. The Bamburi site cement, now known as the Hala Park, it was rehabilitated and now it is a shelter to many different animal and plant species. Now, my dear proposers, it is fortunate that you are citizens of a third world country. But it is unfortunate that you do not have the audacity to stand for your country and say that we can do it by ourselves. Or country? Visitors, I believe you have seen how beautiful the environment of Nyeri High School is, isn't it? Now, do we expect the first world country environmentalists to come and collect the litter that we have thrown away? I am actually proposing that after this debate, we have a cleanup session involving all the schools to make this school look better. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Now, we as Africans have taken the first steps. Let us not take 10 steps backwards by calling the first world countries to do what we ought to do. And with that, I rest my case.
We'll hear final submissions. You have 1 minute proposition.
When love and skill work together, expect a masterpiece. Hunger, deaths, strikes, and floodings. Environmentalism, global warming. Which should we start with? What do we solve first? Artists, I believe, can color the sky red. But those of us who aren't artists should be able to accept corrections from the artists themselves. Since dwarfs see further when they're on a giant's shoulder, I propose that we, as the third world, who are dwarfs in this case, be on a giant's shoulder so that we can see further. I think that we should all unite. And I think that the first world, it is their responsibility to help us. I remain to be the one and only, the lady from Our Lady of Fatima Chinga Girls, Mukami Njoroge.
Opposition, you also have 1 minute.
Now, Wangeshingeru remains to be my name. Primitivity is bondage. Primitivity is captivity. And that is why opponents can call us dwarfs. Members of third world countries have the audacity to also call us dwarfs. Now, when the colonialists set us free 50 years ago, after fighting so hard to get independence, they left us with one mentality, that our dark, kinky hair is too tough. What they did not understand is that the word tough stands for our expression for our country, no matter the problems we are undergoing. They left us with the thought that our eyes do not register enough emotions. But come on, ladies and gentlemen, we only have one emotion to portray today: patriotism for our countries, no matter the challenges in environment we are going through. Now, my constitution, according to chapter 5, part 2, article 69, clearly states that it is the responsibility of my government, the third world government, to take care of its environment. Now, as for the team of the opposers, the progressives of the day, we want to say one thing. We are tired of resting cases. We have decided to do things differently. We are going to bury our case 10 feet under to say it will never ever resurrect again. Thank you.
Our Lady, you're supposed to tell us how. And I want to appreciate Wanjiku, because Wanjiku is the one who started answering the question by telling us how is the first world responsible. And he started by telling us how they came, exploited these things, and they're still exploiting some of these places that we have where they're mining and everything else, some of the things that they take from this continent and the likes. So that simply means from the word go, there were still some questions that we were waiting for, or we were waiting for responses from the first two speakers. So Wanjiku, you're the one who came in to bring in. Nonetheless, Moiru, that was a good start, yes. However, you need to check on your coherence in mastery of language. It was a bit of bumpy for you. Mukami, good ending. I like the way you came to end the entire conversation. But however, in the previous first entrance, well, it was good, but not very convincing submissions. And that's the reason why those questions were not answered at that time. And so Wanjiku came in to do that. For Kahuhia girls, very good submissions. For Tabi, very good definitions, good submissions as well. For Rejoy, good start. And the fact that you started speaking about the agencies we have in the personal and that we have the ability to do this on our very own selves. I like the papers that we're just throwing around to show us that we are able to do this. Bansi, I don't know where you came from, but I think you were outstanding. That was very good for a third speaker. You understood your role, and that was excellent for you. So congratulations to both teams, but let's remember that it is our responsibility. All the best. Let's hear the results.
Chinga girls, the judges awarded you 69%. Please give them a round of applause. Kahuhia girls, drum roll. The judges awarded you 71%, making you the winners of this debate. Kindly give them a round of applause as well.
Well, we'd like to congratulate the two teams on stage. We'd also like to thank you, our studio audience, for being active, our viewers back home for keeping it locked on KBC Channel 1. I urge you to continue the conversation under the hashtag GDC for SDGs. Thank you to Safaricom Blaze, and I have been your host, Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. We'll see you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.